Tank is bad, let me tell you. I put him onto some bread pudding earlier in the evening, and he loaded me with 2 brownies here.
You have eaten all day, though.
I have, and I must say, since I've been visiting branches, I've gained 85 pounds, and I've enjoyed every ounce. Right now, I'm thinking about some pralines around the car.
Let's go to the car.
Yeah. Well, Frank mentioned that I'm known for my humility. This actually happened. A guy said to me, he said, "Edwards, you know you earn your humility." And I thought he'd compliment me until I thought about it. I've been threatening to talk for an hour and 20 minutes, but I don't think anybody would be here, so we'll see if we can do her in 10, huh? The title is Managing for the Next Millennium. That sounds really interesting, doesn't it? I had to have some sort of title, and so that's what it came up with. Actually, I think we should look at what should be the priorities of any business or any institution looking toward the year 2000 and beyond. I think the overriding goal of any business or institution should be to benefit the customer. We have 3 constituencies at Edwards. We have our clients, we have each other, our fellow employees, and we have our share owners. We're publicly owned. We think of them in that order of priority. If we meet our clients' needs and we enthuse our employees, I think our owners will benefit in the long run. If our goals are financial, then the client is used to meet our goals. The client, in my mind, should be the goal, him or herself. And then the client is served rather than used. Profit should not be our corporate goal, even though it is a corporate necessity. It's not our client's responsibility that we be profitable. It's our responsibility to see that we give value for what we charge our clients. And it is our challenge to be cost effective, to innovate, to avoid waste so that we can be profitable. Profit is involved not in what we do, but in how we do it. The only legitimate long-term goal is to benefit the customer. Anything short of that can't last. Our own experience, at least the part of it that I'm involved in, was involved in, dates back to 1965. At that time, my father, who acted as managing partners, we believe in nepotism in our outfit. Otherwise, I never would have gotten a job. He had some angina and moved down to Florida. He didn't ask anybody's permission to do this, he just did it. Along about the next week, we were ready for our next partners meeting, and no one made an agenda. So a half hour before the meeting, I made one, and sort of by default, and everybody looked for me to run the meeting, and I thought, my gosh, I guess I'm it. I didn't have the depth of experience that my father had. I felt we were drifting, and what we should do is figure out what kind of company we wanted to be, and then maybe if we could figure that out, maybe I could be helpful getting us from where we are to where we wanted to go. So that seemed like a pretty good thing to do, except I didn't have the foggiest idea how to do it. So I asked around home, which was St. Louis, and somebody introduced me to a guy named Bob Lefton, and he said the only program he was aware of that really had any lasting effect was a program called the Managerial Grid that came out of the University of Texas. Well, it sounded okay to me, and so they sent me off to a public grid in Tuxedo Park Conference Center, an hour north of New York City. This was in 1966. I can still remember everybody on my team. There were 7 of us. We were together 18 hours a day for a week. We got to know each other way better than we ever intended. We developed a great deal of candor, and we discovered that other people see us very differently from the way we see ourselves. Overall, it was I thought I felt better for it, and the others in our management went to their public grids in other parts of the country, and we decided to go on with the program. The phase 2 was just us, and we met over across the Mississippi River in Illinois at a motel with a conference center, and we spent a week getting to know each other, building candor. In fact, we got so we could debate heatedly issues without getting personal. I don't think we had one fist fight the entire week. We went on from there to the final phase, which was building the model of the company we wanted to be. This took us 2 years. We would meet on a Friday morning out 25 miles southwest of town. We'd go until 10:30 at night. We'd stay overnight and start in again at 7:30 on Saturday morning and go to supper time. We did that 2 days a month for 2 full years, wrestling with questions like, what is the nature of our business? What is the nature of our market? What are our corporate objectives? There were actually about 7 big picture questions which we debated. We finally, and it took us that long to get something in paper, down on paper that we could all commit to. And if I were to squeeze it into one sentence, I would say that we decided to provide financial services of value to a market we called a mass class market. That was a grid term that meant to us the individual investor plus the upper scale investor. To do this through a network of retail branches, acting as agent for the customer. Well, those last 6 words caused a lot of change in our shop. It meant that we had to tell our brokers that their first allegiance was to the client, not to us, if we were going to act as agents for our clients. That hurt our egos, of course, in management. It meant that we had to change our compensation system in the headquarters. It had been treated as a profit center, and it became a giant service center. And our branches were our only profit centers. We took away all override compensation or anything like that in the headquarters, and the only way you could get a bonus was out of a single pot that was funded from pre-tax net of the whole company, and had nothing to do with your job. And your position in that pot was set at the beginning of the year, and there was no way you could change it. So we all had one common purpose then, and that was to meet the needs of our clients who were paying all of our bills. So there was a certain symmetry there. During the course of this, we questioned everything we were doing, and we discovered some interesting things. One was that those of us with the expensive suits and met in the fancy meeting rooms and had the big titles didn't do very much. We were not productive. It was the people out in the trenches that were really accomplishing things, and the people that directly were supporting them. So the fact that we were all turned on, I think we incorporated during this period, really didn't make much difference because we weren't doing the work. So at that time we started a profit-sharing program. When we shared profits, if we were fortunate to have some, with every employee, realizing that it was not us that was making the profits. We also had a special interest in that we were the owners. we went public, and we really didn't own that much of it, but we were all owners because when we incorporated, we had a stock interest, and we had a reason, a private, a personal reason to see this whole thing come out. Well, the people who are really doing the work didn't have any real incentive. And so we figured that the way we should work is to support them, and that we would then benefit too. So we all got on the same side of the table. I've been criticized or teased by my counterparts in other firms for having a giveaway program with our profit sharing and whatnot. I think it's the best thing we've ever done. We and many of our brethren in our industry have sold out. We are determined to stay independent. Our goals are long-term. Both our clients and our employees are better served if we are independent, because we concentrate on them. Our shareholders, they lose a quick profit that they might make if we were to sell out, someone were to buy us at a premium. But I think that it would be a one-time profit, and that wouldn't be no matter how foolish anybody was to pay a big price for us, in the normal course of our growth, that in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years we should be able to achieve that in the market anyway. And after that, I think we'd be a much better investment. So even our shareholders in the long run, I think, would be benefited by our staying independent. Now, American industry is in a period of downsizing, restructuring, re-engineering, and combining. The traditional big employers, most of them have downsized. You read about the layoffs. You wonder how we could be in full employment. Fortunately for our economy, it is a very vital economy, and there are a lot of new companies that are growing, and these people are being absorbed by the economy, and there are going to be other names that are going to be the big names in the future. The benefits of the downsizing and restructuring, in my opinion, are usually a quick financial fix for the shareholders. I doubt whether they're often weighed against the cost. The loss of good morale, the loss of caring employees, the loss of teamwork. When ones in the trenches who really do the work feel disenfranchised, and they work out of fear and insecurity. If costs must be cut for survival, and that's true in a lot of cases, shouldn't they be cut starting at the top? My pay should be the first to suffer, because it's the most. And I think that of other officers. After all, we got us into this mess, if we're in a mess. How many times do you see that come into the equation when they're explaining why 10,000 people have to be laid off? Too often, loyal employees, the doers, are let go so that the company planes can be kept and the big egos bonused. What kind of corporate culture results from this? A business or an institution should figure out who its constituents are, prioritize them, and then work to benefit them. That should be the goal. This sounds pretty goody two-shoes, but the golden rule is the best, most pragmatic business rule that I have ever found. Treating our clients, each other, our vendors, even our competitors, the way we'd like to be treated, really works in business. That's been my experience. And it does make business a lot more fun. Our goal is to be the firm investors can trust. This means we must be competent, caring, and most importantly, trustworthy. How profitable we are depends on how well we can work together in serving our clients. That's all I have to present to you, and I don't know when the hook comes out, but if anybody has questions or comments on any of these subjects, I'd be happy to do a soft shoe and try to dodge them. Nobody? Okay.
Thank you, Ben.